Houston, our instruments are showing that we have a incoming message from deep space. Repeat, Houston, we have an incoming message from deep space. Houston, we'll begin playing message now. Houston, we're going to try and translate that up here. Hold for translation. Translation complete. We'll begin playing message now.
Hey, it's me, Melissa.
What do you do when the aliens invade? Take a shot of MK Ultra and watch Melissa Jade. Put on your tinfoil hat and tune right in. We got that crime spree, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, a complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what are dolphins understanding? It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Aliens is on the sun or in Area 51. Time travels, unravels, haunted castles, cops are baffled, potential experimental plots that make you transcendental. It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa. Crime sprees, flat earth theories, government conspiracies, complex Mandela effects, unidentified objects, a mind expanding, fake moon landing, what are dolphins understanding? It's me, Melissa. It's me, Melissa.
Hello, everybody. Hey, Taz, my snot rocket. B Crumbs, Karen, Pointer Lover. Hello, ATS News. Peppermint Tea, Mark Klein, Blue, Spicy Sugar, Brandy, Jen, Kathy 4, Harlot People May, Neat Noodle. Let me see, Cutie Pie, Debbie Doodles. Hi, guys. How are you? We got a little bit of an earlier live today. Hey, Jules. Justice for Quinton. Amen. Hi, Natasha. So we got a little bit of an earlier live today, but I wanted to come on briefly and go over the developments in the case of Quinton. I know a few people went over it. Well, very few people went over it yesterday. Allie was one of them. And, she made a great point yesterday because she made a post, saying, where's all the people who were screaming about justice for Quinton? Because this case became crazy. It became chaos, kind of similar, on a smaller scale to the Idaho case with a bunch of YouTubers and whatnot in front of Quinton's house, blasting the sounds of screaming babies, would not let them sleep, showing up to the wrong courthouses, just ridiculous nonsense. And they were advocating for Quinton, and they said, we will not rest until this baby gets justice. And justice happens in the courtroom. And nobody's around. Nobody's around really covering it. And it's very sad. It's very sad. But Quinton is a case that I covered in depth. And I always mention Quinton when it comes to Gannon. Gannon and Quinton are not saying that all the victims don't stick with you. Obviously they do. But at least in these two cases with Gannon and Quinton, they grab my heart. And that face, Quinton's face, oh my goodness. And so I'm very happy to be able to watch as Leilani hopefully gets fully held accountable. Exactly, because it's not current anymore. There are current missing people. We are talking about updates don't take priority over current missing persons. Just my opinion. I get it, but still, and that's fine, Jules, and I respect your opinion. But they were blasting screams of the babies, you know, and I'm not saying, of course, you could cover current cases, but not even a mention, right? And so if it, with certain people, not all, but with certain creators, if this was really about the justice for the baby, you know, if this was really about the victim versus, oh, well, what's going to bring in views right now? Wouldn't you want to follow it out all the way to the end? That's just my opinion. Um the whole thing is sad, but of course active current cases need coverage too. But the ones who are screaming the loudest about it, they don't cover it, you know, and it's just really sad. But I have, oh, well, thank you, Psychedelic Relic. Um well, awesome, hippie chick. I'm gonna give you guys a quick like timeline of events also from where it started to currently, just for anybody like you who may not have followed, so it's not totally out of context. But Quinton, oh my goodness, his face, like his eyes are just gonna make your heart melt. So this was a very, very sad case, and I have concerns, and I made those concerns known yesterday when I posted about Leilani. This is the first time she's in court regarding this, besides when she was arrested. And so it's a major development, even though it was just standard protocol as far as like, you know, what they discussed in court. But I have this really ominous feeling. That Leilani's not going to get full, like, held fully accountable. And you guys are going to understand what I mean as we go through this. But um, Quinton's remains, thank God that they were found, but they were partial. And so they are not in good conditions. And I'm just so nervous that they are going to, in the end, be able to get her on disposal, and may not be able to convict her of the act itself, the murder itself. And I hope this feeling is wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I'm just really nervous about it. Hey, Bryn. So let me go through a quick timeline for anybody who was not following this case when it happened. So Wednesday, October 5th, Quinton is seen around 6 a.m. in his playpen at his Buckhalter Road home. He is noticed missing around 9 a.m. and the police are contacted. Now, Leilani is the mother of Quinton, yet Leilani did not have custody of Quinton. And she also had two other children. She wasn't supposed to be left alone with the kids, but she was. And last year, sorry, happy check, last year. And so, like, this upcoming October will be 2 years. And so, yeah, it was a miracle, Justice Jane, a miracle. And I will put a trigger warning up, even though we're covering true crime, but some of the things that we are going to get into are very graphic in nature. So just please be advised. And she was home, and her boyfriend, which is the father of her youngest child, which was not Quinton, he was there with her, and he said he last saw Quinton when he left for work at 6 a.m. Now, I don't even know if that was an accurate last sighting, because, well, what do you mean you saw him in your playpen? If you're getting up to go to work and everybody is sleeping, did you actually see him in the playpen? Did you just assume he was there? Did you go over and physically look? I don't know, but I'm just going to read you as this article states, okay? So Quinton is seen around 6 a.m. in his playpen by Leilani's boyfriend. He is noticed missing around 9 a.m. and the police are contacted. And this is Quinton. Look at that face. I told you those eyes will make your heart just melt, okay? So Thursday, October 6th. Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley holds a press conference saying, in part, police are treating the case as a missing person investigation, and there is no evidence to indicate Quinton is no longer alive. Okay. And this is the chief of police giving the update. Then we have Friday, October 7th. Chief Hadley provides an update on the case during his regularly scheduled presentation to Chatham County commissioners. Now, this is the grandparents. This is Billy Joe. This is Leilani's mom. There's a lot of issues regarding, like a lot of controversy regarding Billy Joe. And Billy Joe is who had custody of Quinton and who should have had Quinton in her care, but she, I'm not going to make the focus Billy Joe. My feelings are my feelings. And she went on another channel. She stuck by Leilani, which I know it's hard because it's your child, but they were out on the front lawn screaming justice for Quinton with Leilani on another creator's channel. And it was a big to do when this all was happening. Okay. Hold on.
Right now, the search continues for a missing toddler. 36 hours after he was reportedly last seen by his mother. Our Andy Cole joins us live now from Buckhalter Road in Savannah. Andy, you've been on this story all day. Tell us what's the latest.
Hey, good evening, Greg and Shannon. Investigators were out today searching for 20-month-old Quinton Simon, but still, they have not been able to find him. Earlier today, I did get a chance to check in with his grandparents, who, as you can imagine, are desperate for answers.
Do you believe Quinton is still be alive?
I hope he's still alive. We don't know. We don't have any information to believe he's not.
Chatham County Police Chief Jeff Hadley is optimistic 20-month-old Quinton Simon is still alive. But as the hours tick by, hope is waning. Quinton's grandparents, Thomas and Billy Joe, say their daughter, Leilani, Quinton's mom, is just 22. And according to court records, Billy is Quinton's custodian.
She hasn't
This is Billy Joe.
always done the right things, and sometimes she does really great, and sometimes she doesn't. And I don't know what to think right now. I don't know what to believe, because I don't think anybody ever believes that this is going to happen to them. So I don't know if I can trust her or if I don't. I just know I'm hurting, and I want this baby home.
We want
He's my
answers.
baby.
We don't have answers.
Quinton's grandparents tell
Okay.
me more than anything, they want answers.
Whether it's the answers we want to hear or
Pause.
answers we don't want to hear, we just want to know something.
It's just a baby.
Home where
Okay. So right off the bat, that is what we had got. Okay. Billy Joe was saying, I don't know if I could trust her. That was regarding Leilani. Yeah, ATS. And I think he was trying to stop her. She didn't know she could trust Leilani. Sometimes she could do really good. Sometimes she can't. Okay. So this is how it's all unfolding. Hey, Mo. This is how it's all unfolding in real time. Okay. So then Chief Hadley provides an update on the case during his regularly scheduled presentation. In court documents, it is learned that the grandparents are the one who have custody of Quinton, and that the grandmother was trying to remove the child's mother, Leilani, and her boyfriend from the home. So that's when it came out, and I have all these documents and stuff, that Billy Joe went and filed on Leilani and Danny, her boyfriend at the time, to get them to leave her house. So you have to imagine this is a very turmoil environment now, because Leilani is living with her mom, with her new boyfriend, and they're now pretty much newborn child. And then she has custody of Leilani's other two sons, Quinton and the older one, and she just filed to have them leave, okay? And then there's also posts being made by Leilani on social media. It was a very turmoil environment at the home at that time. Saturday, October 8th, the Chatham County Police Department issue a statement saying the search continues. They are not in need of volunteers, and the FBI is still aiding in the investigation. October 9th, CCPD issues a statement saying they are re-canvassing specific areas in the search for Quinton. CCPD establishes a tip line. Monday, October 10th, Chatham County holds a press conference providing the latest on the investigation. So Chatham Fire is called to the home to pump the backyard pool. WJCL requests the initial 911 call placed by Quinton's mom. The request is denied by the county attorney, citing it's an open investigation. We want to make sure we do this as professionally and as expertly as we can. So if I say if, we have to prosecute anyone in this case, that we've done it right. Okay? A 911 call dispatch obtained shows that Quinton's mother found the front door open and she believed someone came in and took him. These damn ads, man.
Here's what's happening right now. The 5th day of searching comes to a close. We're learning new information about the investigation into the disappearance of little Quinton Simon, just 20 months old. Our Andy Cole has been on the story for days now, and he reports on the latest and shares the police radio the morning Quinton was first reported missing.
For the first time today, Chatham County Police Chief said there is a possible criminal element to this case. But still, 5 days in, Quinton is missing.
We have a signal 56.
You're hearing Chatham County Police dispatchers on Wednesday morning when Quinton Simon went missing from his Buckhalter Road home in Savannah.
Complaint about her 1-year-old son is missing. She woke up, her door was open, but he's unable to open the door, saying someone came in and took him.
Fast forward 5 days to Monday.
Everybody is being looked at. Everybody is being interviewed.
For the first time since 20-month-old Quinton Simon disappeared last week, Chatham County's police chief says there may be a criminal element to the investigation.
You know, we're looking at it from multiple fronts, and one of it being a criminal investigation, as well as, you know, a missing child at this point. We don't have anything confirmed, so we can't say anything absolutely.
On Monday, local law enforcement and federal agents researched the home where Quinton was last seen on Buckhalter Road. That included a sweep of the home. Police tarped up one of the windows early in the day and later took the obstruction down. Fire officials were on scene Monday as well. They used their fire hoses to drain the once full but murky backyard pool. Chief Hadley told reporters that dozens of FBI agents are here in Chatham County, desperately searching for Quinton.
They are here in a support role, and I can't thank them enough. You don't bring 40 people, and some from all over the country, without an enormous amount of effort and expense.
Also Monday, Chatham County denied an open records request filed by WJCL 22 News for the initial 911 call from Leilani Simon, Quinton's mom, made the day of his disappearance. They say they are not releasing the call right now because it is part of a, quote, ongoing law enforcement investigation.
Okay. So then Tuesday, October 11th hits, and Chatham County Police issue a statement saying they have seized evidence they believe will lead to closure in the investigation. Okay. And it is something that they found, actually, no. Okay. So it says, we seized evidence that we believe will help move this case forward, and we're now working to analyze the evidence to see where it leads us. So look at that face. Look at that baby's face. Okay. It's just something about his eyes, but it's so haunting because he looks just like his mom. And so when you see his eyes, I get angry because I see Leilani. And yes, Tess, I remember. Yep. So then Wednesday, October 12th, they issue a statement. Today marks 1 week since Quinton was reported missing. We will all be at his home where he was last seen with a team of search dogs and investigators, gathering, analyzing evidence. Then we have a statement from police. We are saddened to report that CCPD and the FBI have notified Quinton's family that we believe he is deceased. We have named his mother, Leilani Simon, as the prime suspect in his disappearance and death, but no arrests have been made and no charges have been filed. This is when crap went crazy, okay? Yes, Jules, within a month, I think it was, right? They found, which now with the information that we're going to go over that was learned yesterday and stuff, it's interesting because they learned something before they found Quinton. There was some evidence that they had that lead them to believe Quinton was no longer alive before finding his body. Something significant, okay? Thursday, October 12th is when they said their search has led them to believe Quinton is dead, but no body has been found. Mother is prime suspect. Oh my God, I can't stand her. Okay, analyzing evidence. So Tuesday, October 18th, police and FBI say Quinton's remains were placed in a dumpster and taken to a nearby landfill. Now an extensive search of the landfill is underway in the hopes of finding the child's remains. Now, if you do not know, hey, Allie, if you do not know the process of what occurs at a landfill, it is, as far as remains, it is brutal, it is horrific, and they're going to detail it in a motion that I'm going to read to you guys. And that's why I have a trigger warning up, because it's a lot. But again, the fact that they even found this baby's remains is a miracle. Okay? Miracle. This is the search. Look at this, guys. So it's all taken to different zones. It's all moved. It's compacted. It's pressed. So they had to stop everything, but time had passed already, you guys. A lot of time had already passed. You have a shit ton of freaking trash moving in and out of these landfills. And so everything got paused and a whole crew was put on sifting for this baby. You see it? Look at these workers sifting for this little baby. October 19th, the search continues, but multiple witnesses say Leilani and her mother, Billy Joe, were seen drinking shots at a Tybee Island establishment. Also learned that police were called to a motel after hecklers discovered Quinton's family members were staying there. This did happen. We saw it in real time. We covered it. It was crazy. Leilani and Billy Joe are out drinking and partying. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to So Saturday, October 22nd, police confirmed several protesters were arrested outside the Simon family home. So this is what I mean. YouTubers were going crazy. Facebook people were going crazy. Then just people on their own protesting outside this home. No justice, no peace, just crazy. Blasting the screams of babies crying, which I think... What about kids living in nearby homes? That must have scared the crap out of them. But things were going crazy, and they arrested a couple of people. So then Monday, October 24th, Leilani does an interview, and she says she hopes her son will be found happy and alive, and she is not hiding. 3 weeks, October 26th, they put out a statement hoping to find his remains, and that's their top priority. We are committed to giving Quinton the professional, detailed, and thorough investigation he deserves. It's just a long statement. They share additional photos. Yes, this is them. Look at that landfill. This is them searching for Quinton. And that's what it was, Jules, because I can't imagine trying to put my child to bed and hearing the things that were happening out there. And that would be very frightening, and it just wasn't necessary, in my opinion. It wasn't necessary. And this chief actually made a really good statement about it, because, and I cannot quote it, so I'm paraphrasing, but it was something along the lines of, the ones who are screaming the loudest now for me to make an arrest before I'm ready to are going to be the ones who are screaming at me loudest that I messed up when I don't secure the conviction. And I was like, bam. It was so powerful, because he was right. You're screaming, make the arrest now. We can't even wait one more day. Yet it's not about the arrest. It's about the conviction. And he's like, I'm going to dot my I's and cross my T's. So I know when I arrest her, she isn't going to get out on a damn technicality or a mistake or because it was sloppy. And I was just like, you're right, because it's the same ones that are screaming, do it now, do it now, that would be screaming, you're an idiot, you messed this up when she gets out. Oh my God, I know, Shane. I know. This poor baby, look what they were trying to find him on. So I need you guys to understand this when in a little bit, as we go over the issue of determining a cause of death and stuff like that. Look at how they were trying to find his remains, okay? So aside from decomposition and what we're dealing with naturally post-death, then we have compacted trash. As you can see, everything looks the same in the landfills. You can't distinguish what is what. That's because of the compacting process. This full-blown machines needed to recover this baby. Then the search is set to pause for a weekend. Then it's resumed. Then we're at 1 month since Quinton was last seen. 4 weeks ago today, we received the call that would spark the largest search and most far-reaching investigation in the history of the Chatham County Police Department. It was the call that little Quinton Simon was missing. And they posted this. And you could see them out searching in this landfill. You could see bones on the table, because they have to distinguish, just like when you eat ribs for dinner and you just throw away the bones in the trash, everything gets compacted in a landfill. They had to search through every bone, most that had not human remains, but they had to look at her on the table with the photo of baby Q right next to motivate them. This is who they're looking for. This is who they're looking for right next to them. But look at her sifting through literal animal bones. Thursday, November 3rd, another arrest outside of Quinton's home. Chatham County Police say they will take measures to limit protesters outside of the home. As you can see, you got Bullhorn Betty right front and center. Okay? Hold on. Okay. We're now, yep. All right. So Friday, November 18th, Quinton Simon's babysitter, who was an active part of this case, a lot of controversy regarding it, holds a candlelight vigil in his honor. Sunday, November 20th, police announced they are pausing the landfill search so searchers and support teams can take a necessary break. They were going hard. Monday, 21st of November, preliminary findings show the remains found at the landfill are human. Authorities believe the remains are that of Quinton. Leilani is charged in the murder of her missing toddler, as well as concealing the death of another false statement or writings to conceal facts or fraudulent documents in the matter of government and false reports of the crime. So, Leilani is charged. They find partial human remains. They believe that to be of Quinton Simon. It ends up being Quinton's remains. Partial remains recovery. Now I'm going to show you guys what she was charged with. This was her indictment. I want that gun. Okay. Count 1, malice murder. In the name and on behalf, Leilani Simon, on or about the 5th day of October 2022, did unlawfully, with malice aforethought, cause the death of her son, Quinton Simon, a human being, in a manner unknown to the grand jury at this time. Count 2, felony murder. The accused did make an assault upon the person of her son, Quinton, with an object. See, Allie, are you still here? With an object that, when used offensively against a person, did result in serious bodily injury. The nature of the object being unknown to the grand jury at this time. That's why, when we were going over it in Allie's yesterday, I said we knew it was blunt force of some type, and I forgot where I read it, and it was in her indictment with this felony murder. Some object, some type of object, and please remember this, because when I circle back around into what we discovered yesterday in court, you'll understand the significance. So, what that object is, yes, ATS, and something that wouldn't normally be an object, but something you can use as a weapon, and not usually an object, not usually a weapon. So that could be like a lamp, right? Like just as an example, not usually a weapon. It's not a knife, but when used offensively, it can be a weapon. Like a piece of plywood. It's not a weapon, but if you use it, it can be a weapon. So that's count 2, felony murder. This little baby, okay? Count 3, felony murder. Did commit the offense of cruelty to a child in the first degree. Maliciously caused her son Quinton cruel, excessive physical pain in a manner unknown to the grand jury at this time. Cruel, excessive physical pain. Count 4, concealing the death. Unlawfully concealed the death of Quinton by discarding him in a dumpster at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, which hindered the discovery of whether Quinton was unlawfully killed. Count 5, report of a false crime. Now, similar to Letitia, Leilani switched up her stories multiple times, and she got charged for each time. Yes, Jules. And I think, and again, it's going to tie into yesterday, what kind of came out, and circle it back around to, remember I told you guys, they found evidence that led them to believe Quinton was deceased before they found his body. there is something in that house, something bad enough for them to know a really bad event occurred. So, Leilani willfully and knowingly gave a false report by implying that Quinton Simon had been abducted by an unknown intruder, similar to Letitia. That was her first story. Count 6, making a false statement. Having admitted that she had left her home in the late night hours of October 4th to meet her drug dealer, falsely stating that the purpose of this meeting was to pay an existing drug debt. Now, that was the next story. Count 6, making a false statement. Falsely stating that the only controlled substance of which she was a regular user was marijuana. That was determined to be a lie. Count 8, making a false statement. Falsely stating that the only controlled substance she had used in the past 24 hours was marijuana. Of the statement she's giving, the only thing she was admitting to using was marijuana. So no, that was false. Count 9, making a false statement. Having admitted that she had left her home in the early morning hours of October 5th, falsely stating that the purpose of this trip was to meet her friend Misty to obtain Oragel, a topical pain reliever, from Misty, and that on this trip, the accused had in fact met Misty at a Chevron service station and had obtained Oragel from her. Oragel. Hey, MK. Count 10, making a false statement. In the early morning hours of October 5th, 2022, she had in fact traveled to Azalea Mobile Home Plaza and there had discarded her son Quinton in a dumpster. Count 11, making a false statement. Having admitted that she had left her home to meet her drug dealer in the late night hours, falsely stating that the purpose of this meeting was to pay an existing drug debt. Count 12, making a false statement. That on the night of October 4th, she had used controlled substances. Count 13, making a false statement. Stating that the purpose of this trip was to meet Misty to obtain Oragel, and Misty on this trip, the accused, and on that trip, the accused had in fact met Misty and obtained Oragel. Count 14. In the early morning hours of October 5th at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, she had discarded her son Quinton in a dumpster. Count 15, making a false statement. By having admitted that she had left her home in the early morning hours of October 5th and had traveled to Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, falsely stating that the purpose of this trip was to meet her friend Misty. Count 16, making a false statement. Having admitted that she had discarded something in the dumpster at Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, falsely stating that all she had discarded was normal household garbage. Count 17, did knowingly and willfully conceal that in the early morning hours of October 5th, she had discarded her son Quinton Simon in a dumpster. Count 18, making a false statement. Falsely stating that it was not the accused, but rather her boyfriend Daniel Youngkin, who had traveled away from the home in the early morning hours of October 5th. Count 19, making a false statement, having once again admitted that she, not Daniel Youngkin, had left the home in the early morning hours of October 5th and had traveled to Azalea Mobile Home Plaza, and having admitted that she had no contact there with her friend Misty, falsely stating that she did not remember what she had done there. So 19 charges when Leilani was arrested. 19 charges. Okay. Now, since then, and this came up yesterday, 19 count indictment, guys. There's been motions filed to dismiss the murder charges against her from her defense team. There are motions filed to dismiss any of those statements to police where she admitted guilt. And those motions will be heard as we're approaching trial. And they were brought up yesterday. But there was the state's response to defendant's special demur to the murder charges. And they get into detail. Hi, Jaded. They get into detail. Very, very, again, trigger warning of what exactly is entailed in this process. So, Leilani is charged with murdering her 20-month-old son, Quinton, with concealing Quinton's death by discarding his body in a dumpster, the contents of which were then deposited at a local landfill, with falsely reporting his disappearance as an abduction, and with telling investigators a series of retreating lies, moving from one lie to the next only as each lie became untenable in the face of additional information uncovered by law enforcement. Because the ins and outs of waste management are perhaps not common knowledge, more specificity as to what happened to Quinton after the defendant discarded him in the dumpster might be illuminating. And this is what your trigger warning is for. What happened to Quinton once Leilani tossed his body in the dumpster? Well, it's going to tell you what happened. Hours after the defendant discarded Quinton's body in the dumpster, the hydraulic forks of a front-loading garbage truck lifted up the dumpster and dumped its contents, including baby Quinton, into the large box that constitutes the back of the truck. Then a powerful compactor, and if you don't know what a compactor is, it squishes, okay, to make more room. A powerful compactor built into the truck compacted the contents of the box, including Quinton. This powerful compacting action is desirable so that trucks can collect as much garbage as possible before having to visit the landfill. Eventually, the truck disgorged its load at the trash basin of a local landfill. A trash basin is a designated point at which all trucks entering the landfill dump their garbage. It is not the final destination for the garbage. Rather, it is more likely a staging area. A bulldozer then shoved the heaped garbage some 300 feet from the trash basin to a cell. A cell is a designated area to which garbage heaped at the trash basin is given a route at a specific time. This is not a neat process. It requires repeated trips by the bulldozer and involves, in addition to shoving, some amount of spreading and smearing and etc. Once at the cell, the garbage and Quinton were compacted by a roughly 50-ton machine that looks something like a steamroller, but with rollers that are studded rather than smooth. Then there was the search. Once law enforcement had identified the cell in which Quinton was likely to be located, they set about searching. This process consisted of excavators scooping garbage out of the cell and loading it into the dump trucks. The dump trucks then unloading the garbage at an open area known as a search deck. The garbage then being spread out into an even layer on the search deck, law enforcement then painstakingly combing through the garbage, and the garbage then being cleared from the search deck to make room for the next load. This process was repeated day after day, load after load, ton after ton, until these efforts finally met with grim success. All of which to say, Quinton's body went through a lot as a direct result of the defendant's deliberate choice not only to conceal Quinton's death, but to do so specifically by subjecting him to the violence of the waste management system. Law enforcement did not discover his remains, not his intact body, but his remains, for more than a month after his disappearance. Listen to that again. Law enforcement did not discover his remains, not his intact body, but his remains, for more than a month after his disappearance. Naturally, Quinton's body had by then undergone severe trauma and decomposition. To be clear, it is not as though law enforcement found Quinton's remains in a single location on the search deck. Rather, they were dispersed across it. A bone here, a bit of tissue there. Quinton's cause of death, therefore, was not apparent from lay observation of his remains. And while forensic analysis is ongoing, no cause of death has yet been ascertained forensically and likely will never be. Nor has other evidence conclusively established Quinton's specific cause of death. No one saw Leilani murder Quinton, and Leilani's various statements to law enforcement and to the news media as to how Quinton came to be dead were an inscrutable and inculpatory mishmash of I don't know, I don't remember, I don't think I would do anything to hurt him, but if I did, I will take responsibility. Quinton's cause of death is the fault of Leilani and Leilani's alone. Her actions of disposing his body, concealing its whereabouts, indicate that her specific intent and hope was that Quinton would never be found. The idea seems to be no body, no case. So, like I said, then they're filing motions to quash her murder charges and throw out all of those statements. And we have to pray that that's not going to be the case. So I know that that was tough and I know that that was brutal, but you need to have the context of what we're talking about. And now I circle back around to what I said to you guys in the beginning when I mentioned I have concerns. I have concerns that Leilani will not be held fully accountable because his remains over a month after he died, natural decomposition. But now you just you heard how the waste management process unfolds, and you heard how its remains. A part of Quinton was in one area, another part of Quinton was in the other. His body was scattered. Therefore, they are not going to be able to determine an exact cause of death. But now think back to her indictment. Even with the condition of baby Quinton's remains, they know an object was used. They know she caused him excessive, cruel pain. Well, prying Paula, because they're able to determine injuries that were caused when he was alive versus injuries that were caused post-mortem. And so observing even part of his remains, they'll be able to determine, hey, did this happen when he was still alive or did this happen post-mortem? but they're only able to examine parts of body at the time. And so without the body being one, to be able to conclusively determine what was the final blow, what was the actual cause of death, is going to be extremely hard. But they can still determine there is an injury here, there is an injury there. Okay. So then Leilani goes to court yesterday. Okay. She goes to court yesterday, and this is what we hear. So Leilani Simon facing charges of murdering her own toddler. Yesterday, we learned more about the case and how it could move forward. Judge Tammy Stokes said she would like to try this case, and that's gained national attention before the end of the year, which I am hoping, guys. It comes as prosecutors say they're waiting on forensic reports from federal investigators. Prosecutors telling Judge Tammy Stokes that they're waiting on forensic regarding a playpen and toxicology testing from the FBI before the case can continue. The state is hoping to have those reports back by May. What remain outstanding are forensic toxicology testing of certain materials recovered by law enforcement in this case, mainly a pillowcase from Quinton's pack and play. So there's something on Quinton's pillowcase in his pack and play that has that's in the middle of being tested. Judge Stokes expressed her hope to try the case before the year's end, but said moving it to the newly built county courthouse next door could delay future proceedings. The most important thing is making sure that motions are heard and that we can move forward. Again, motions like dropping the murder charges and dismissing all of Leilani's admissions of guilt. Hi, Mallory. Hi, Jennifer. Leilani's defense team will give their arguments on why any of her statements of guilt should not be admissible in trial. At some point in time, I think we just have to draw the line and proceed to trial, said Leilani's lawyer. Okay, but hold on. Now I want to show you guys. Here it is. Okay. This article. So, and there Leilani is. Okay. Hold on. Damn ads, man. And Leilani has gotten her GED while she's in there and looking at, like, she appears as she's doing good, which you want to better yourself while you're in there. That's great. But I think it's a move from her defense saying you're very young. You can argue drugs. You could argue this. Get your GED. Make sure you're looking like
Quinton Simon appeared in court today. Leilani Simon was there for a hearing to determine if the attorneys have everything they need to go to trial. When asked if Leilani Simon would testify on her own behalf,
where'd it go? Oh, come on. Wait, where am I? Wait. Hold on, my thing just glitched out and got really weird. I'm sorry. Do you guys see black? Is it a black screen for you guys? Ugh, hold on. Okay, let me try that again. Go watch this damn ad all over again, man. So I was saying that I think it's her defense lawyers who are pushing, you got to do X, Y, and Z while you're in there. So by the time we come to trial, it'll be, oh, but she's a young woman. Yes, she's made mistakes, you know, like, but look at what she's done since she's been in here. You know, like she's gotten her GED. She's, you know, going to, you know, meetings. That's what I'm expecting.
Accused of killing her toddler, Quinton Simon, appeared in court today. Leilani Simon was there for a hearing to determine if the attorneys have everything they need to go to trial. When asked if Leilani Simon would testify on her own behalf, her attorneys told Judge Tammy Stokes she would not. Prosecutors say they're still waiting on forensic test results on evidence taken from Quinton's pillowcase, pajamas, and remains. Judge Stokes says she hopes the trial will begin by the end of this year. Simon's next court date is scheduled for April 16th.
It's here.
So,
Introducing the all-new Club Jenny, powered by Jenny Craig. Everything you need to support weight loss, wellness.
Pillowcase, pajamas, and remains. Thank you, Jennifer, for becoming a member. We're so happy to have you here on the channel. Thank you, thank you. Pillowcase, pajamas, and remains. That's what they're waiting as far as the testing. What did they find? Yeah, Pepper, I know it's taking a long time. It's taking a long time. And so it was a routine hearing to determine if the defense and prosecutor have everything they need. Leilani refuses to testify on her own behalf, which is the smart move when you're freaking in the situation she's in. So they're waiting on, this is the hard part, ready? The final evidence they are waiting for to begin trial was forensic toxicology tests of Quinton's pillow and pajamas for, and I quote, apparent brain matter. They hope the results from the FBI lab in Quantico will be in by May 1st. Thank you, Hippie Check. Thank you so much. So, I know that, like, this is what we anticipate when we see the charges that she is up against and what they detail as far as an object being used, but it's just heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I know, Nay. He was so small, you know. So I don't know. I don't know what to think. So we're hoping to have the trial by the end of 2024. And she's going to appear in court again on April 16th. Like I said, those defense motions to throw out the charges and to throw out the statements made admitting guilt. And I hope that that's not the case. But I just have serious concerns that they're not going to be able, like, she's going to, she needs to be fully held accountable. Not on a couple of charges. Like, I really hope they're going to be able to prove and convict her of the murder itself. But let me show you this interview she did. And this is when we all knew something is really wrong here. Something's really wrong.
yourself into the police?
I'm here. I've been here every day since this. I am not running and I'm not hiding. And if something does come up that I am at fault, I will take myself to that police station.
I'm not running. I'm not hiding. If something comes up that I am guilty, I'll take myself. I'll take my damn self to the police station. Why does my thing keep going black? No. Help. What? Why is this whole screen black? I can't see you guys. Okay, I'm just gonna finish playing because I can't see you guys.
3.5 weeks after making that statement, Leilani was arrested and charged with murdering her son, Quinton Simon. That came 3 days after Chatham County Police found what they believed to be Quinton's remains in a local landfill. In a news conference held shortly after Leilani's arrest, I asked if she did turn herself in. Leilani made a statement to me that she would turn herself in. Was there any talk of giving her that opportunity?
No.
After Leilani made that statement in the interview that she was willing to turn herself in, her mother, Billy Howell, also jumped in.
I will take myself to that police station. And I will walk with her.
According to a family friend I spoke with on Tuesday, Billy did take Leilani to the FBI office where Leilani was arrested and then transported to the Chatham County Detention Center. That detail matches what I was told by a law enforcement source familiar with the case.
They sat there for 4 hours yesterday until, I'm assuming it was for them to get the warrant. So come and pick Leilani up and took her to jail.
Weeks ago in the interview, Leilani also told me that she didn't know what had happened to Quinton, but cut off her mother to say she hoped he was alive.
We want him found happy and alive. We want him back in our arms, holding us. That's what we want. We're just hoping that he's in somebody's house and they're feeding him, and we're hoping that, maybe they wanted a baby or couldn't have a baby. Maybe they thought they were his savior. But it's not. That's their best hopes at this point.
An important
Oh my goodness, hold on. Okay, I'm back. Well, half my screen's back. That is the weirdest thing. Did you guys see all that, though? I hope you saw all that. That was just so weird. My whole StreamYard screen just kept going black whenever I played the videos. But did you see how Billy Joe's face turned, like when she, and I would play it again, but I'll just go black again. But she cut her off and she's like, "We just happy that he's safe and alive." And Billy Joe turned and you could see the pain in her face because she knows, as she's listening to Leilani say that, she knows in her heart the truth. And it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. But I'm going to continue covering all the updates. Like I said, April, I think 16th, is the next court date, and this baby deserves all of the justice. And I'm already heartbroken knowing that his full story and truth is probably never going to come to light, but she needs to be held fully accountable. So I hope that gives like a little breakdown of for anybody who wasn't following back then. And I'm curious if Danny, because her and Danny separated, okay? And this goes deep, okay? Because we had the actual report. The reason that she didn't have these kids, okay? She used drugs while pregnant with each of the 3 children. They were born addicted. And Billy Joe had custody of the 2 older ones. How she even had her youngest daughter, I don't know. At when you have 3 kids who all are born positive for drugs, at that point, I don't know how CPS even allows Leilani to go home with them, but that's for a different live. But that's the update. That's where things are at. And I'm praying that we get a trial by the end of this year because this baby deserves justice and Leilani deserves to be held accountable. But I think everyone needs to prepare for what's going to come out because it's going to, from what we already know, it's horrific and it's heartbreaking. But thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day. I'm not sure who is going live. I don't know if I think the ward case studies will be live later tonight, if I'm not mistaken, with some new Letitia calls. But I'm just going to drop everyone's link, all of the amazing channels, and I appreciate everyone being here. So I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will talk to you all soon.